Welcome back, everybody. It's Open World Chat again, once again, or at least again for those of you who've listened to it before. Welcome to new listeners. It's not again for you. I'm your host, John Odom, and I'm here with Mark Card. Mark, how you doing?
Hey, how are you, John? I'm doing well. Hello to everyone. Uh, Again, want to extend my thanks to whoever linked us in India because we have a lot more of you guys now. So I appreciate that.
It's true. It's true. The sociopaths, our favorite sociopaths episode, apparently got linked, and now I think it's just taken off in the YouTube algorithm. So it got its leg up, and it's off to the races. So that's
Yeah.
great.
Yep, there's always room for improvement, but we're really happy about that. So yes,
Yeah.
very, very, very nice.
Are you saying we're not perfect? What do you mean there's room for
Well, I'm not.
improvement?
I can't speak for you, but I'm not.
All right. Well, I'll let the listeners decide. Did I say viewers before? Viewers just
Viewers,
because I
listen,
was
well, we
thinking
are
of
on
YouTube.
YouTube,
Yeah,
so
I suppose so. Well, today we're going to talk about, we're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about those roles, those movie roles that should be just closed up, rolled up. They're done.
yeah, I
There's,
didn't limit myself to movies.
oh, you didn't. Oh, good. Okay. Um, yeah, I was just looking at
Because I
movie.
do think there are some people who have just crushed their TV roles so well.
Mhm.
Not only should you not remake the shows, it would just be impossible, I think.
Well, I have three axioms that are going to be my reasons probably to argue with you and not make a choice, which are just personal feelings. They're not like absolute rules. They're
Sure.
personal guidelines, shall we say. And one of them is named after a TV character. So I'll be able to join in
Ah,
there a little bit.
I wanted to talk about why I thought of this.
Oh,
The genesis for me of this idea was Harrison Ford and Humphrey Bogart. And I'm not going to give away my Harrison Ford choice yet, but my deal is this. So this came out of a game that I play with my friends occasionally. Recast the movie. And I think there's a movie role which cannot possibly be recast, and that is Humphrey Bogart as Rick
Rick,
in Casablanca.
that's interesting because he is near the top of my list too.
And the thing for me is that Humphrey Bogart so inhabits this role that there is no other actor who you might recast.
Yeah.
There is only one exception, and I talk about this because there was actually word they might do this. There was word they might remake Casablanca.
Hmm.
This was, I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago, to which I immediately had a violent gag reaction. But I started thinking about how do you recast it? And really, there's only one person who could possibly play Rick, and that's Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
funny.
right. But there's only one modern actor you might possibly passably replace him with, and naturally that would be Harrison Ford. He's
Interesting.
the only guy who has that roguish charm. He's the only guy, he's got that Han Solo thing, which is the same thing that Rick has. And
But it
so,
wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be
no,
the
of course it
same.
wouldn't be the
Yeah,
same. He would be the closest possible choice. And even then, Harrison Ford would never take the part because he would want to deal with the fallout from it.
right, right. And I mean, I think you could recast. It's not just about the movie. You could recast Ingrid Bergman, I think, even though
Yes.
that might be a sad thing. But Rick, no, it's so funny that for both of us, he ended up, one of the first ones we thought of.
Oh, it's impossible. It's just impossible. There is nobody who has that streetwise, wisecracking uh, guy who controls everything around him, but who suddenly finds himself in a position where he has absolutely no control and doing what he has to do, he knows will make him will change him completely the rest of his life. And so he just nobody can do this. Nobody.
Well, well done. Good mention.
Anyway, that's the origin of this, and then that got me starting about thinking about who else is in this position now. It's a bit more modern. I mean, it was 84 years ago when Casablanca was made. So
Well, I'm going to mention one, the first one I was going to mention, which is not more recent.
sure.
And that's Judy Garland as Dorothy in The Wizard of
Oh
Oz.
yeah, who could possibly do that?
Yeah. Forget
And
it.
the thing is, they've nominally done that with the musical Wicked. Not really with the Dorothy character, but they've
Right.
tried to remake The Wizard of Oz
Yeah.
from a different angle, and it's just not as successful, I don't think.
Or The Wiz.
Yeah, that too, that too.
Yeah. And I think I had to think about this one because what am I saying? Am I actually saying you can't remake The Wizard of Oz and she's just the face of The Wizard of Oz? I don't think so. I don't think it was about the whole movie. I think I'm thinking about her. I think, I mean, and obviously because of that, you could never remake The Wizard of Oz, but I think that's the direction it goes. I think because you could never recast Dorothy, therefore you can never remake The Wizard of Oz.
Oh yeah, I think that's going to be a lot. You're going to see a lot of this in this discussion is that
Mhm.
because character A or character B can't be replaced, you can't remake a movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Unless you cut out the character.
right. And then we're talking about a whole different thing. Then we're talking about Wicked, and we're talking about The Wiz, and it's just that we're not going to do that.
Right. Instead of Dorothy, you have some dude named George, who
Right.
shows up and all right, give me one. We're going to fly through these if we're not careful. Actually, we've already started the flying. Although
Well,
I don't know, maybe this is just going to be a short one, right?
we'll see. We'll see. And I have some ones that are kind of strange. So let's talk about another really obvious one. And this is so obvious. The actor, before his passing, signed an agreement to allow AI to use his voice in all future productions, which might be needed. And that's James Earl Jones as the voice of Darth Vader.
Oh,
There is no
that's a good
replacement.
one.
There is no replacement. They have used other actors before in other productions, some of the animated series, and it
Mhm.
just does not work. It doesn't work. It's not going to work. Stop trying, to quote that line from Mean Girls, stop trying to make fetch happen.
Hmm.
It's not going to happen. And he saw it. He knew it. He embraced it. And
That
I
that's
really think he probably believes that was one of the best casting decisions he ever made.
that's a tough one because the idea of rolling up and putting away Darth Vader because Darth Vader is done because of James Earl Jones, that puts a lot onto that franchise. I think you're right. I think that's very intuitive of you, but it really creates that situation. And that's now what about I'm assuming you're character of Anakin before Darth Vader is something that's a whole different story, of course. We should make
Oh,
that distinction.
oh no, I think you have to make that distinction
Yeah.
because I mean Anakin is a completely different human being. I
Yeah.
mean when Obi-Wan says in A New Hope that uh Darth Vader killed your father, it's not a metaphor.
Mhm.
It's an actual thing. I mean, he killed every part of Anakin that existed. Anakin would argue that the Jedi killed every part that existed, but
Mhm.
but
Well,
Anakin.
except that little ember that Luke at the very end manages to blow
Well,
into
and yeah, and that's
flame.
only because he was his son.
Yeah.
That's genetics. That's evolution calling.
Right. Yeah, it's very
So
behavioralist of you.
so I just don't think it's possible to replace him. I don't.
Yeah. No, I
And
see what you're saying.
and you don't try, which I think really uh, James Earl Jones was smart to do that with.
Yeah.
He understood the legacy of his own character, and then he took steps to make sure that that character's legacy stayed pure, relatively.
Yeah.
I mean, can you who could do the voice for him?
Yeah. Nobody.
That's my question is, I mean, they've even tried impersonators and the impersonators didn't work. So, I mean, you can tell. You can tell when they're using an impersonator. His voice was so distinct, so unusual, so well known, you can't replace it. And so, trying to make Star Wars without his voice of Darth Vader, it's just not possible. It just isn't. So that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I just think it's one of these things that you have to figure out on your own. And you may not agree with some of these things, but I think there are some obvious ones like this which are definitely true, and you
Yeah.
can't evade it. You can't get around it.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go light. I'm going to go very light here, into a character that's become kind of iconic, but is not a particularly, oh, I don't know. You can judge for yourself. I'm going to say Jeff Bridges is the dude.
Yeah, who the hell could play the dude?
Who else could play the dude? Nobody else could ever do that role again. The role is owned. The role is complete. The role, like I say, lock it up, put it in the box. It's done.
Well, and the thing is, who would have expected that out of him?
I know, right? Well, the guy can do anything.
Well, he's just considered such a serious actor
Hmm.
that that's what makes that casting decision genius for him
Yeah.
because no one expected him in this role. Nobody expected him to do well in this role. I don't think, but boy, he just knew how to inhabit it.
And it's just another sign that he is one of the best actors of our age, as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned.
Well, and all you have to do is contrast the dude with Rooster Cogburn in the remake of True Grit.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think John Wayne is irreplaceable in True Grit, and I think Jeff Bridges shows that. I very, very much prefer the newer version with Haley Steinfeld and Matt Damon and Jeff Bridges than I do the old one with John Wayne.
Oh, there's no comparison. I mean, Rooster, the old one with John Wayne has its own sort of classic quality to it, but in terms of or classic vibe to it, I'm not sure exactly how to say because I want to save the term quality to compare the movies. And it's the Coen brothers, right? Am I making
Uh,
that up? I think so. I'm going to sound like an idiot if I'm not, or if I am.
I
But
don't remember who directed it.
there's just no comparison. And now that you bring up True Grit, it's possible that that role, that Haley Steinfeld might have nailed that role so much.
I was thinking about that too.
Yeah, that may not be a role that's playable again.
Yeah, I think she's whip smart. She's ridiculously persistent in that movie. She
Mhm.
convinces all these adults three times her age to do things which put them at risk, their lives and livelihoods at risk. And she's so good in that, although I really love her as Kate Bishop.
Oh yeah, she's great. Have you seen any of the Emily Dickinson series?
I have not.
It's pretty ridiculous. I wouldn't bother, but she's fun in it.
Yeah, I just, she's another one of those people that we talked about, Millie Alcock.
Hmm.
Uh, if you put her in the right role, she's winning an Oscar. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
just think
agree.
it's not long.
I hope
It's
not.
not long. Well, we'll see what happens, now that she's having children with a NFL quarterback.
Oh, she is? Which one?
Oh, Josh Allen. She married Josh Allen. Now they're having babies.
Oh, did I? I
She had
guess
she had
I
she
probably
had her
heard
first
that
one
sometime.
not long ago. So,
Hmm.
but I don't think she's going to quit acting.
I hope not. I
Well, I
hope
think she's
not.
too good at it.
So give me
So,
one of yours here. We
I
are
have
kind of trucking through.
well, I have a couple of them, or at least one situation where the casting director got it, or the creator of the show or the director of the movie got it so right that there's more than one cast member who's irreplaceable.
Mhm.
And this is coming earlier than I expected to, but we're just going to do it anyway. I think Sarah Michelle Gellar as Buffy is an obvious choice. Um,
Hmm.
but I don't think anybody could play her. I really don't. Not with the same kind of attitude, not with the same kind of emotional response, not with the same kind of commitment to the role. I think this is one of those situations like William Shatner and Captain Kirk that her career suffered because of it. Uh,
Hmm.
she had a hard time finding very many serious roles in films, and I think that's because the vast majority of films she was offered were, Buffy type characters in Buffy type settings. And so when she ventured out to real drama or other things, she just didn't get the kind of response that people thought she would. It's especially true late in her film career. She made a couple of movies that are just terrible, and one which I like very much, but it's very odd and it's based on a comic book. Uh, Southland Tales is the movie I like that's in her movie career.
Oh, never
But I
seen it.
just don't think you find anybody else as good as Buffy, especially after, oh, I can't remember the name of the actress who played her, Christy Swanson, who played her in the
Oh
movie.
yeah, well, that's like a different character, really.
Yeah, well, and that's largely because the producer and director of the movie who took what Joss had and made it something completely crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then of course
That's
that I think I think there are lots of other roles in Buffy which are going to be hard to replace. But I think the next most difficult one to replace is Charisma Carpenter as Cordy.
oh interesting.
I think there are lots of mean girls, and it's easy to cast mean girls, but that's not where Cordy ended up.
I think in both cases, I think I don't agree. The challenging one for me is Sarah Michelle Gellar. I do feel like Charisma Carpenter could be recast, but Sarah Michelle Gellar is tricky. I have an axiom that brushes up
Sure.
against her. I'm not quite ready to say what the axiom is yet because I'm saving it. That it challenges the axiom. So I will say that. But,
It sounds to me like you're trying to formulate Odom's law.
well, I am. I've got three of them. And this one it's not a good fit for, so I'll want to talk about later. So it may not be an axiom. It's not a perfect conversation piece for, I guess I should
Yeah.
say. But I think I can imagine her being recast. I do want to give her
No.
props that she so inhabited that role. I don't actually think she's that great an actress. I think though that was
Oh,
her
I don't know how you
who
can
did
say
it.
that having seen season two and season three of Buffy,
I think she's
especially
fine.
season two.
I I would say fine, you know, but I think it's different in Buffy. I think she's different in Buffy.
Well, we're not talking about your career. We're talking about a single role.
Yeah, well, that's sort of what I mean. Is I think she exceeded her more natural talent because the role was so good for her.
Well, no,
Having
no, no,
said
no.
that, I
You're
think
missing what I'm saying.
mhm,
What I'm saying is that she fits the criteria for doing that absolutely.
mhm.
Because we're only talking about one actor and one role and not comparing them to the rest of their career. I
Right.
mean, if
Oh,
what
I know.
we're
I'm
really
just
talking about
I
is irreplaceable roles, then it's kind of irrelevant what the rest of her career looked like.
oh well, yeah. I'm just talking about the actor themselves, and how that's interesting. I mean, you could say the same thing if you felt that way, and I I don't know that I do about Kirk and William Shatner. You can say William Shatner's the rest of his career was more questionable. but
What's
that's he embodied the role so much you can't imagine anybody else doing it.
Well, and I think that's a lot of the reason why that's true is because he embodied that role so much. And I'm not saying he's one of these because I like the job the actor in Strange New Worlds is doing in originating Kirk.
I liked
Um,
Chris Pine,
and
honestly.
Chris Pine was
Hmm.
okay as Kirk too.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I agree.
it,
He's not on my list either.
but but I think what I said about Sarah Michelle Gellar also applies to William Shatner in that they so inhabited a role that casting directors and producers never saw them any other way. So they were never offered any other kinds of roles, really. And
Hmm.
if they were, it was by subpar directors, subpar casting people. And really the only thing that saved uh, Shatner's on-screen career were the movies.
Hmm.
But again, after the movies, what does he do? Well, after the last movie, he writes books.
Yeah.
He wrote the Tech War books, but he doesn't really get back on the screen until Boston Public.
In Boston Public, where he wins 2 Emmys, which is pretty
Yeah,
cool,
well, I mean,
actually.
nobody says he's a bad actor, but
A
look at
lot of
the
people do.
well, I know, but look at the yes, I dismiss those people out of hand.
Ah,
Is,
there you go.
is he Robert De Niro? No.
Mhm.
Is he good for the kinds of roles that he plays? Absolutely. So, uh, but I do think what happens to these people in their careers is they end up not getting offered better roles, not getting offered roles where they have to stretch, not getting offered roles which takes them out of the producer director comfort zone.
Yeah.
And so what happens is they're considered worse actors than they really are because they don't get those chances.
Yeah.
And a lot of that has to do with typecasting. And that's why actors fear typecasting so much because it limits their opportunities.
You could be a
Um,
career ender. It's
yeah. And really, Shatner was lucky in a lot of ways because you had conventions that kept his name around. You had syndication that kept his name around. And so, you know, uh, it's just kind of what happens when you get stuck in a specific role. But he got lucky. He was able to work his way out.
He
Um,
did. And it's funny that we're talking so much about him since I do think we're already in more agreement in general than I thought, except for Sarah Michelle Gellar, that we're talking so much about Shatner, but neither of us
well,
would
I
put
want to
Kirk
go
in
back
that
and
role.
defend. I want to go back and defend Chris McCarpenter.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
I think it would be pretty difficult for a lot of actresses to make the kind of emotional changes you have to make uh, to fulfill her arc. Cordy goes from ultimate two-dimensional bad girl and pretty fast begins to change. I mean, there's an episode in Buffy where she goes from the bad guy to the good guy for just a couple of seconds, but it shows you what possibilities there are for the role. And I don't know if you recall this, but there's the episode. So it's an episode called When She Was Bad, When She Was Bad. It's the episode 1 of season 2. It's the season opener. When Buffy is dealing with PTSD, and so she's toying with everyone around her. She's being mean to Willow. She's leading Xander on. She's just basically pretty much torturing everybody around her. And there's a confrontation outside the Bronze, and Cordelia gets into. She basically confronts Buffy and says, "Hey, what is your major attitude here? This is not who you are. This is who I am, and knock it off.
Hmm.
Because your friends don't deserve this." And this is where you start to see, I think, the transformation, the softening of of Cordelia. And so she's basically turned into the good guy here. Buffy's the villain because she's treating everybody terribly. She doesn't know how to get over having to murder her own boyfriend. Uh, and so she's treating everybody in all her relationships, her mother, the Scoobies, everyone just awfully, even Giles. And Cordelia steps up and says, "Yeah, this is not you. Knock it off. This is my job." And that role reversal starts a major turnaround. It's very slow, but it's a major turnaround for the character for not just that season, but it her transformation develops really the heart of Angel. And although I was listening to an episode we recorded some months back, our the death episode, and although I included Fred as in that as my example from Angel, I just as easily think you could include the one of the last episodes of Angel where she comes back to move Angel on and to get him to make the decision to kill the senior partners.
Hmm.
So I just think she stretched herself and inhabited the role and went from the ultimate pain in the ass to somebody who sacrifices her life for the whole cause. And
So that means you are rolling up Buffy and at least the
I'm rolling
first,
up Cordy too.
you're rolling up at least the first part of Angel then
Yeah,
as they're done.
yeah. I don't know how you could. I don't know how you could replace Cordelia. I just don't.
Uh, so, since we mentioned Shatner, I am
Yeah.
going to mention a character that is done. And this is one of those unusual cases where it's been tried. It's been tried and it has failed. And it is tried and failed by an excellent actor. And yet even that actor couldn't pull it off. And that's the role of Khan. Khan is done.
Oh yeah. No, Khan was done as soon as the opening. I mean, the closing credits of The Wrath of Khan was
Yeah.
over. And the thing is that if you had told me that Ricardo Montalban was going to play a character so bad, so evil, so cunning, that no one else would be able to play that role. If you told me that was what Ricardo Montalban was going to do, I would have laughed at you. In 1981, if you had said, yeah, he's going to be the bad guy and it's really going to make the movie and there's nobody else who could ever play this role, I would have laughed. I would have said, you're kidding me. The rich Corinthian leather guy, that guy's going to be the ultimate Star Trek villain? No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Or
No
if
way.
somebody had told you he's going to play a Sikh.
Yeah, that
That's
one
the
too.
thing. Despite that, and like I say, they tried with Benedict Cumberbatch. And does anybody even remember what he did? It
Well,
was
I
wrong.
remember people hated that movie because, you know, J.J. Abrams, super creative guy, just went, we're going to remake a movie.
Yeah.
And the big twist is going to be flipping two characters at the end.
Yeah. So that's one. Roll it up. Never do
Yeah.
it again. And I
That,
don't mean, there's the episode of Strange New Worlds where they're back in time and we meet the young Khan. That's different. That's just a
yes, that's
kid who
not that.
appears
No,
for a couple minutes, right? So that doesn't count.
that's larval con. That doesn't matter. Nobody cares about that. I mean, unless they were able to make something which was every bit as good as Wrath of Khan. And honestly, I think it's difficult to say that anything in Star Trek since has been as good as Wrath of Khan.
Yeah. So give me one. What you got?
Let's give you one, which is a guy who's not even an actor originally and worked his way into this role. He started out as technical advisor for Stanley Kubrick on a movie called Full Metal Jacket. And that's the guy who played the DI, the drill instructor, Arlie Ermy.
Oh, that's a good
Have you seen
choice.
his audition tape?
No.
So he was hired as the technical director for Full Metal Jacket. So whoever they brought in to play the drill instructor in the first half of the movie was authentic.
Mhm.
Well, it became clear to Ermy, who was an actual drill instructor for the U.S. Marine Corps during Vietnam, that that wasn't going to work. And so he made an audition tape where he went on a, I don't know, 20 or 30-minute rant of the kind of dialogue that would be expected for this role while people were throwing donuts and stuff at him. And he was completely unfazed by the distraction. And he went to Stanley Kubrick and said, the guy you have to play this role is not going to cut it. And so here's my audition tape. And bang, he gave him the role. And he's the most memorable part of the movie, really, at least the
Yeah,
first half.
that's a good one.
It's
That's a
not
good one to
Matthew
come up with.
Modine. It's not Vincent D'Onofrio, and oh my God, that guy just killed it.
Yeah.
Um, but honestly, I think you could replace him if you were to remake Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, I think so too.
I think you could replace Vincent D'Onofrio pretty easily. You cannot replace Arlie Ermy. It can't be done. The experience, the intensity, the commitment to the role, it's him. It's
Yeah.
him. You'd have to go back and stitch together his voice into a CGI image, and that's the only way it would work.
So
So
that
yeah,
brush.
Arlie Ermy is just irreplaceable. And he went on and did a bunch of other movies, but nothing like this one.
Yeah, no, that's a really good call. That's a really good call. You know, Matthew Modine doing such a good job, but being replaceable brings me up to a lot of them bring me up to some of my axioms, but I'm going to go ahead and name one of my axioms then
Okay.
that I have a feeling you're going to disagree with in some, or at least in the name of the axiom, which might bug you. And that is, I think, the Meryl Streep axiom. The Meryl Streep axiom for me is that it's not just about how talented you are and how good you are. It's about you and that character. You know what I mean? You
Oh,
can be,
listen, I agree with that completely. I think, and the best person to talk about this with as the opposite is Nick Cage.
it's the
Nick
opposite. That's
Cage is
funny.
like Jack Nicholson, but he doesn't do it as well,
Hmm.
right? So Jack Nicholson plays Jack Nicholson in every movie he plays,
It's true.
but he also turns Jack Nicholson into the role he's playing.
Hmm.
There it succeeds. Meryl Streep is the same way. Nick Cage is not.
Yeah. Although I want to say, in fairness,
Is Nick Cage in every movie he does. You don't ever separate Nick Cage from the role ever.
I
And
disagree with that. I disagree with that. I think the guy has acting chops, and every now and then he pops up with a movie just to remind us in the midst of the schlock that actually I can act. What was the
oh,
name of
I'm
that
not
movie?
saying it. I'm not saying he's schlocky. I'm
Hmm.
just saying, and I'm not saying he's a bad actor. What I'm
Hmm.
saying about Nick Cage is that no matter what he does, he can't avoid how much Nick Cage is the role rather than how much of the role is Nick Cage.
You know what I think makes the case against that, in my opinion, is the movie Pig. I think it was called Pig.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, you should see that movie. God, I think that's what it's called. He
Well,
was
you know,
not Nick Cage in that movie.
Tom Cruise is a talented actor, but
Mhm.
he falls into the same category as Nick Cage. Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise in every movie.
Was he in oh God, what's the matter with me? I hate it on this show when I just can't think of, Vietnam vet guy.
Yeah, Ron Kovic in
Ah,
Born on the Fourth of July.
thank you. Thank you. I think he shows us he can act there too and not just be
As I said
Tom
before, I'm not
Cruise.
saying he can't act.
Uh-huh.
He's great in these movies. He's great in Top Gun. I don't. There's nobody. That's a good one. You can't replace. I don't think you can replace Maverick in Top Gun. Don't think
Oh,
it can be
that's an
done.
interesting one. Yeah.
Uh, but it's still Tom Cruise.
Yeah. Okay.
And that doesn't mean he's a bad actor. That
Hmm.
doesn't mean he can't act. But his personality is so much of part of whatever role he plays. And again, this may be the fault of casting directors. This
Hmm.
may be the fault of producers or directors. And they say, wow, this role has got to become Tom Cruise. Or a writer says, I can only write this movie for Tom Cruise.
Hmm.
And then, you convince the producer and the director, and then they go after Tom Cruise.
Oh, I
I'm
know
not
what you're
saying
saying.
that they're not good actors. I mean, I think he played the hell out of uh, the kid in Risky Business. And
So
he did
Tom
that at
Cruise.
a time where almost every teenage actor was interchangeable in the 80s.
Hmm.
I mean, you had all of those coming of age sex movies like that, and a lot of actors rose to the top that way. Um, uh, like John Cusack. You had a lot of these people rise to the top in that era, but nobody liked Tom Cruise, and I think that's because Tom Cruise was a better actor than the rest of the people in that age.
Yeah. I still don't agree on Nick Cage, but I get what you're saying. I totally get what you're
No
saying.
worries.
Um, Whose turn is it? Is it
It's
mine?
yours.
It's mine. I'm
Yep.
gonna give one. Gonna stay away from genre a little bit, and that's the old version of Vito Corleone, Marlon Brando.
Oh yeah.
Forget it. That
Well,
that
I don't
role
think
is
that's
done.
I don't think that's moving away from genre because that movie's a fantasy.
That's an interesting take on it.
Yeah,
Do tell.
mobsters don't have a code. Mobsters aren't loyal. Mobsters aren't good to their families.
Hmm.
You can't live a life of crime and have some kind of existence as a regular human being. That's a fantasy.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because, of course, a big part of that first movie, well, both of them really, is about that code of honor and that being good to your family is something dissolving completely. And
Yeah,
just
well,
that
and that's because
maybe
it was a
early on
myth.
it
It was a
did.
myth. It never existed. That's why.
Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. But
But
in
yeah,
any event,
nobody could play that role again. It's impossible.
nobody could play that role again. That
I
one's
mean,
done.
even he didn't want to play that role. He's legendary for them having to convince him to do it. He thought he was done with acting.
Oh, really? I did
Yeah.
not
Now,
know
have
that
you
at
seen the
that
movie
point.
The Freshman?
I have not.
Do you know what it's about?
I remembered that it existed, but I don't remember anything about
It's
it.
Matthew Broderick
Yeah.
and him, and he plays what you think is a mob boss.
Hmm.
And it turns out that Matthew Broderick is dating his daughter, and he replays the role in a hilarious parody. It's a really good movie. You should watch it.
Yeah. Of course, he had to be paid more than any actor had ever been paid to be in Superman at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
That
Well,
was,
he was kind of the reigning actor of his age then.
hmm.
So
Yep.
yeah, I would have done that too. And the funny thing is, he was living on an island off the coast, off Haiti, off Tahiti, when they pulled him in for Apocalypse Now, and he wanted the role so bad he showed up at Coppola's doorstep on his knees, and they had already decided they weren't going to cast him.
Yeah. That's really interesting because I would almost put that role in the list too. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I think you could get, I think there are various approaches you could take to the character. I think you could recast it, but close, close.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I think you could replace Colonel Kurtz.
Yeah.
You could replace him as Colonel Kurtz easily.
Yeah. Oh, easily. I think it would be difficult, but basically, but we're still in agreement, obviously.
Yeah. But The Godfather, you're absolutely right. Nobody could play old Vito Corleone the way he did. I mean,
Yep.
and the scene that proves that to me is the scene where he dies, where he
Oh, the scene. Yeah, of
where
course.
he's running
Yeah.
around with the orange in his mouth and he's acting like a monster in front of the little kid. Nobody could have done that scene the way he did it. Nobody.
Mhm.
And that is a moment and that's in The Godfather 2. That's oh no, wait, that's in the first one. Um, so that's a thing where that's a scene where you believe he could have been a good family man.
Mhm.
But he's out.
God,
He's done.
you know,
His life of crime is over. So of course he could go back to that. But yeah, that movie's a fantasy. It really is.
yeah. I'll mention the one scene that sticks in my head with him is that moment where recovered and he finds out that Michael was the one who did the revenge killing there in the
Yeah, they hit on
restaurant.
the police captain
Yeah,
and so on.
yeah.
So
There's just this moment where you just feel it, where you feel the one thing I managed to keep precious, the
yep.
one who was going to be a senator, the one who was not part of all this, who was clean, is now dirty.
Yeah,
And
the
you
guy
just,
that was going to make him legit. Yeah.
yeah. And the one member of the family who was going to be legit, and you can just see it in him. You can just see him kind of
Yeah. Oh
deflate a
yeah.
little bit. Yeah.
He's broken,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is why he retires.
Yeah.
That's why he retires. Is he retires because he failed.
Yeah. Yeah. He failed.
Um, all right, I got a
Well,
really good one for you.
yeah,
Malcolm McDowell as Alex in A Clockwork Orange.
that's a really good one. I think you're right. I think you roll up that roll and put it away. I know I keep
And the
saying
reason why I
that,
say that is
but I
because
mean it.
that's a really tough role to play. This is a really bad dude. This is a person who has a true sociopath, and I'm surprised we didn't think about this guy. Um, he has no remorse. He has no, I mean, short of being, having it conditioned into him,
Hmm.
he's a predator. He's completely without remorse.
Yeah.
But yet, when the state is manipulating him, when the state is putting him through this terrible, terrible program, you feel sympathy for him. You feel bad for him.
Yeah.
You understand why he jumps out the window, even though that's not the real reason why he jumps out the window.
Mm.
He jumps out the window because he realizes he can't be himself anymore.
He had
And
a huge responsibility as an actor in that role.
well,
I mean,
especially because in that British tradition, he wasn't a well-known film actor before that. He was a stage actor.
right. But
And
he
and
had to, oh, go ahead.
and I don't know if that was his first feature film, but it was one of his earliest.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if it
I'm sorry,
was
what
his
were you going to
first.
say?
Oh, I was just going to say the responsibility he had on his shoulders was to take a character that was basically written one note and
Yeah.
inhabit it and make it a three-dimensional character. And by God, he pulled it off. It was
Yep.
subtle. It was subtle. It wasn't like in your face, but
Which
he
is
was a three-dimensional character, and
which is
that was an
funny,
amazing job.
which is funny that it was subtle because the role is not subtle at all.
Yeah.
That is a charge ahead, play to the seats in the back, crazy role. But he manages to really put it in the right place. He manages to move it in a direction where you will actually, I mean, he's a terrible human being, but you feel
Mhm.
bad for him.
Yeah. All right, I got one for you. And this
Hit
one
me.
brushes up against one of my axioms, so I will mention the axiom. Mine is Peter Sellers as Inspector Clouseau.
Yep.
Now he brushes up against something there, and that's my Mork axiom. Mork is different because the role was designed for a specific actor, or even sort of designed by. And that's different. With Peter Sellers, the fact that they tried to recast him two movies later in the movie Inspector Clouseau shows that it wasn't written for him, but
Right.
he owned the character, and the recasting failed miserably.
Yeah. I mean, Steve Martin, one of the most talented actors of his generation.
Oh, he tried too.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't work. It did not work. And that
Although I
guy,
wouldn't use Inspector Clouseau as that example. I would use Chance the Gardener.
huh? I have to think about that. That's a really interesting choice. I'm not
I think
prepared to answer one way or the other on that. That's one I'd have to take. It's one I'd have to sleep on, I think.
no, I think it's I think nobody else could play that role. Not the same way. I mean, he's got less dialogue than Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator in that movie, and he was at least nominated. I know. I don't know if he won for it, but I know he was nominated for it.
Yeah, well, he should have been. He did
Oh, by the
such a
way,
terrific
just
job.
as a side note, that's the first movie I ever saw in the Brea Theater.
Being there?
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously not in the Pink Panther,
And you
right?
know what the second movie was?
No.
Elephant Man.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
First
And
one I ever saw in that theater was the Crater Lake Monster.
I missed that theater. That was there my freshman year at Berea, and then it was gone.
We're talking Berea, Kentucky, folks. We both have connections there. So,
Yep. And when I was there, the seats were all broken and the heat didn't work, and but we went anyway because we were poor college students.
yeah. Yep. Well, I was a poor high school student, but that's all
Yes, at the time, yes.
right. What else you got for me? Give me another one. We're doing pretty well. We're not taking too much time with these, but we're covering, I think, a really good range of characters.
Let's go back to TV, and I don't know if you've seen this show because it's out of genre. Well, I don't know. You might be able to qualify this as fantasy too, but Newsroom, the HBO TV show.
God, I don't remember the series well enough. I just remember that it existed.
Jeff Daniels plays the anchor.
Oh, right. You know,
Nobody could have done that role but Jeff Daniels.
right.
Nobody. He plays a Republican anchor who realizes what's going on with the Republican Party, during the Tea Party.
Okay,
And
yeah, I don't know this show. I don't know this show. I take it
oh,
all back.
put it on the top of your list. Do you have HBO Max?
Yep.
Put it on the top of your list. It's a terrific show. It's an Aaron Sorkin show,
Mm. I
and
run hot and cold with that guy.
you will run hot with this, except toward the end. And he plays an anchor who really kind of decides that he's had enough of the Republican Party in 2010, 2011. And really, the funny thing is that he started this show about a year or 2 years after all this stuff went down.
Hmm.
And so he goes through all these things which are occurring, which occurred in real life with the Republican Party, and basically just uses his role as an anchor to attack all of this stuff. And it's a really prescient show. I mean, it shows how we got where we are now.
Hmm.
And I just don't think anybody could play this guy the same way. He plays an anchor of a CNN-like TV show, or the evening broadcast of a CNN-like anchor. And of course, the people he worked for, this is kind of funny in a turnaround. The people that he works for are like Ted Turner, this kind of conservative guy who started a news network and then really kind of shaped it into a defender of democratic values.
Hmm.
Um, and the ironic thing is the casting there. Guess who plays the person who owns the company?
Oh God, I have no idea.
Jane Fonda,
Ah,
who was married to Ted Turner.
did Turner, right?
And so she said she put a lot of Ted in this role.
That's really funny. That's
But
really
it's a
funny.
really great thing about how this anchor and his producer are fighting the kind of uh, homogenization, gamification of the news,
Hmm. Hmm.
and how he takes on the Republican Party and their the beginning of their fall into fascism.
Yeah.
It is a really, really, really kind of forward-thinking show, and you'll go watch the show and then we'll talk about it again because I really do think he's irreplaceable here.
Okay. Oh, it sounds interesting. I'll check it out. Yeah. I'm going to give you a classic one here, and that's the role of Ash by Bruce Campbell. Now, this comes very close to my Mork axiom, except for the first movie, Evil Dead. He was just the one, they said he was the handsome one or whatever, that they had play the role, which wasn't written for him. It was just written as a horror role. So he he did not have the original role written for him, but then it became Bruce Campbell. So I
Yeah.
think I think he counts. I mean, forget it. You can't have another Ash.
No, and that's why people are so upset about his diagnosis.
Oh my God, I'm going to sound like an idiot here. I don't know about his diagnosis. What's going
He's
on?
been diagnosed with an undisclosed form of cancer, which is not treatable.
Oh, Jesus. I did
And
not know that.
he's not going to pass away soon, but he said, I'm not going to stop making movies.
Good. That's terrible. No, I did not know that.
Well, and I love not the current super Spider-Man movie, but the one before that. No, no, no,
Mhm.
no. No, it's not Superman. Spider-Man. It's
Right.
in Doctor Strange and the
Yeah.
Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, in the Multiverse of Madness. Oh,
You know the character he plays in that?
yeah. Remind me again. His
The hot
case
dog
walk.
vendor.
Oh, right. Oh, right.
Who Doctor Strange casts a spell on him, so he'll just spend the rest of his time punching himself in the face.
Yeah, that
That
one.
was perfect for him. And again, but that's one of those things. That's the Mork rule. He's
Yeah,
playing himself.
yeah, yeah. That's
He's not playing his character in Evil Dead or Evil Dead 2. He's playing himself.
yeah.
And
I think it became that in Ash, but it wasn't. It didn't start that way in the
no, I
original
don't think it did
Dead movie.
either.
Yeah,
But it becomes that because, when people realize you're good at something, they don't want to see you doing other things.
yeah,
And
yeah.
this kind of thing, the typecasting thing has as much to do with the audiences as it does with producers, directors, and casting directors.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
So
Well, he took over that role. I've got, it's your turn now. I just want to say that my big list is done. So I'll be reviewing my axioms and a few almosts, but who have you got for next?
I've got two or three more next ones, so we
Okay,
could
that's perfect.
get
And
through
I'll
those.
just go into axioms and things.
I'm just going to mention the guy's first name and last name, and I just think you don't have to pick a role. Anything Jack Black does is completely irreplaceable.
That's probably true.
And
That's
it's just because he's so idiosyncratic as
yeah.
an actor. He's a terrific actor. This is what people don't understand about Jack Black. He is an acting genius. He's probably the most underrated actor of his generation.
Now you think, huh? He
I
does do a
do.
good job when he actually acts. I'll definitely grant you.
I do. And I'll give you a great example of that. Nacho Libre.
Which was should have been more fun than it was, can I
Not
just
to me.
say?
I think it's one of the funniest movies in the last 20 years.
No, it didn't quite catch me.
How
It's
many
like I
times have you
wanted to be. Maybe my expectations were too high.
how many times have you watched it?
Oh, just the once. I was like,
Yeah,
nah,
not
it's fine.
enough. Not enough. You have to watch this movie 4 or 5 or 6 times before you understand what he's doing here.
Whew, that's a commitment.
It is, but it's worth it. It's hilarious. So, here's the deal. Do you know why does that movie work?
Well, it didn't quite work for me. That's the thing. So
Well, it
tell me.
works for me, and this is the one reason why, and only Jack Black could do this. It works because he plays this goofy, stupid character completely straight.
Yeah.
It's a complete, honest portrayal of this guy. And here's the cool thing: it's based on an actual person.
Mm,
Um, but the first time I saw it, I went, "Nah, it's all right. It's not great." And then I watched it again, and I went, "Okay, there's something here that I'm not getting yet." So I got to watch it again.
hmm
After 3 viewings, I was laughing out loud at almost every scene. This is the thing, and the people I know who've been professional comedians, they love this. They love this movie. They think it's funny as hell because he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's he understands the character, and this is a character who would be really stupid and ridiculous and says really stupid and ridiculous lines in really stupid and ridiculous situations.
Mm.
And if it were any other actor, this would have just gotten universally panned. But it's not. It's considered one of his best movies.
Oh, really? You think so?
Yeah, it's considered one of his best movies, and he kills it in this movie. He does. You need to watch this a couple times in a row.
It's true. I can't imagine anybody else doing it. So that is true. I
But
will
just pick any other
definitely.
role he has.
hmm
Dewey in the School of Rock.
Yeah. Yeah,
Nobody's going to replace him there.
that's true.
No, nobody. Nobody's going to have that much goofy charm or that much. I mean, that guy is completely self-centered until he realizes he can help all these kids. I mean, he's
hmm
a terrible human being until he starts being around these kids.
hmm
And he breaks all the school rules too. He takes them off to to audition for a battle of the bands for
Yeah.
God's sake.
Oh, that's a great movie.
This is not a environment you want grade school children around.
Yeah. No, it's too much fun. That movie's too much fun. It's great.
But Jack Black gets away with it because he's Jack Black.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well,
Even have you seen his other movie, his serious movie, Bernie?
haven't seen that.
Well, Bernie is based on an actual case in Texas where this guy that, he's just the nerdy, weird, off human being who's very, very strange and nobody wants to hang out with him. And he makes a friendship with a lady who's older and has money, and he ends up being accused of murder. And I think he actually murdered her.
Mm,
And he's not a good person. He's not a good guy. But if you watch this movie, you understand what happened to put him in this situation
hmm
because he's really nice to this lady.
Yeah.
And nobody else could play that role. I just think, in his major films, and he tried to do Gulliver's Travels and it didn't work.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
But in the films that people know him for, how do you replace him? And this is something that even Robin Williams didn't do. There are movies Robin Williams made which you can replace people with.
Yeah, I agree.
Having said that,
Except Mork. You can't
well,
replace him
there's
in
another
Mork,
one
but it
too,
was written to be him. So
right?
that's not fair.
And I'll give you another example. and it wasn't written to be him. The World According to Garp.
Yeah. Yeah, well
Nobody plays that role but him.
that's the one that really put him on the map too.
Yep. It's that movie where people went, "Oh,
Yeah. That's the one.
hey, this guy's not just a goofy comedian on cocaine.
Yeah.
He's the real deal. He's a serious actor."
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I mean, I think it was still about finding the right role for him, but when you found one, you hit a home run.
yeah, I mean, and honestly, the one that everybody thinks of is the movie where he plays the teacher at the prep school.
No, you don't mean Goodwill Hunting.
No, no, not School Ties, not
You
Good Will
mean
Hunting.
not
No one
School
likes School
Ties.
Ties.
The one where it's like Seize the Day and all that
Yes.
stuff. Why can't
Of
I
course, we
think
can't
of
remember
him?
the name of it.
I can't remember it either, and it's just because
But
you
even
brought
in
it up.
that
I
movie, he
can't
could be
remember it.
replaced.
Hmm. Yeah,
There
I
are
think
other
so
people
too.
that could play that role,
I think
but
there's
not
others
Garp.
that could do it better, but yeah, no,
But not Garp.
yeah, I agree.
Nobody plays Garp like Robin Williams. And I was lucky because my brother bought his first album. My older brother bought his first album in the late 70s, and I was like, "Oh, this guy's hilarious." So
Hmm.
then when I didn't read the book. I didn't know anything about the book, The World According to Garp.
Yeah,
And the book is very different than the movie.
yeah, I've never read it.
Uh, I mean, the book has a novel within the novel.
Hmm.
Um, but after seeing the movie, I went, "Okay, well, who do you do that?
Hmm.
There's nobody can play that role but him."
Yeah.
But anyway, that's not the one I was going to talk about. So I talked about Jeff Daniels and Jack Black now. Let's move on to my next one. And boy, there's a debate about this movie, and I think most people are wrong about it. But this particular actor agrees with me, and that is nobody else could play John McClane in Die Hard.
That's a really good question. Could anybody else play that role? Oh,
I mean,
that's
who?
another one I'm going to have to sleep on. That's a
Yeah.
really good example. I'm not sure that I agree, and I don't know that I can know if I agree right now. I have to think about it.
Well, look at all his competitors at the same time. Is it the
Hmm.
same movie if Arnold Schwarzenegger is playing John McClane?
Oh God, no.
Right. How about Sylvester Stallone? First of all, you have to be able to understand John McClane,
Mm,
and Sylvester Stallone's speech impediment makes that pretty difficult.
yeah.
Who else? Who else was an action star back then?
Well, contemporaries,
Yeah.
definitely. I'm just wondering if anybody could ever.
Well, no, I agree with you, but I just
Mm,
don't think it could happen. I don't think anybody has that kind of swagger.
yeah. That's that's a really interesting choice. I'm really going to have to think about that. That's a really good one.
So Bruce Willis is one of those. Why don't you talk to me about your almosts, and then I'll finish up with my which one I think is the absolute best example of this.
Sure. Um, well, I should just as a throwaway mention because you mentioned Jack Nicholson and I forgot about Jack Torrance.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that almost goes without even talking about. But
Yeah, that may beat mine, but it's close.
yeah. My almosts, I've got three almosts. And the thing is they may if it's one of yours, then we should just talk about him.
Okay.
But my almosts are the Terminator.
Yeah, that's
Almost.
that's an almost.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think there are actors who could do that.
Yeah. Captain Jack Sparrow. And only because Johnny Depp was imitating Keith Richards. So you could
Yeah.
get somebody else to imitate Keith Richards then and
Yeah,
it could
you
work.
could definitely do that.
Yeah, yeah.
You could
And
hire Mick Jagger to do that.
this is the one that you may have on your list, and that's Tony Stark.
No, that's not on my list.
Oh,
I don't think that's an almost. I think that one is, and especially once you know the the background, and we've already talked about this,
yeah.
where the studio didn't want him because he was too big a risk. He was
Yeah.
on his fifth rehab, and nobody thought he was going to be able to make it. And
Nobody thought he might live to make it, right?
yeah, and John Favreau had this massive blockbuster in Elf, and he said, "Yeah, you want me to make this movie? Then I get to make it the way I want to."
Hmm.
And so really, John Favreau saved. He really kind of saved the Avengers
Oh,
of the whole MCU, I think.
the whole idea. Yeah. The very concept. Yeah.
And I don't think you do it with Tony Stark. Who else could have played him?
Yeah. Well. I think it's impossible to reimagine and recast the role, but barely,
Well,
barely.
the other interesting thing here is some things that I talked about. Let's talk about my almost made it. My almost made it is Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow.
That runs right up against one of my other axioms. You tell me why first, and then I'll tell you the axiom.
Because the original actress who was supposed to play her but couldn't, do you know who that was?
Oh, yes, Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt. And the reason why she was going to play her was because of
Well, she didn't take it. She
no, I
didn't.
know she didn't
Yeah,
take it. And the reason why they asked her was her turn in the Tom Cruise movie she did.
Edge of Tomorrow. No,
That's
that
right, The
was,
Edge of Tomorrow.
yeah, okay,
And
that
they
was
went,
before. Yeah.
holy crap, this is not just the girl able to play the assistant in the original Devil Wears Prada. This is an badass action star.
Right.
And so, I think if they had gone with Emily Blunt, it would have been just as good. I do think, unlike other people, that Black Widow is the absolute heart of that MCU arc. I
Yeah,
do.
I can see that argument being made, sure.
I think she's the one who had the least to start with, and she's the one who had the most to lose at the end.
Yeah.
And what did she do? Total self-sacrifice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the interesting thing to me is she is probably the person who deserves the most scorn and the most derision among the Avengers and the least trustworthy among the Avengers
Yeah.
because she worked for the other side.
Yeah.
And how does Captain America treat her? Cap treats her like one of the team. And
Yeah.
he's the
Treats her
only one
well.
who really
Yeah.
does that.
Yeah.
So I think Cap realized
Yeah. And
she's
the
the heart.
filmmakers didn't even know. I mean, I think there's a really strong argument made that she was the heart of it. And based on the farewell scene in Endgame, I'm
Yeah,
not farewell scene, but I mean the where everybody's mourning her by the lake.
absolutely.
I don't think the filmmakers realized that she was, because that wasn't enough.
No, I don't. And that is a universal complaint I've heard from the nerd community about that
Yeah.
movie
Hmm.
is Natasha's gone.
Yeah.
And nobody cares about that. They're all fawning over Cap because he was old.
And
Natasha's gone. Never
story.
come back.
Yeah.
She can't come back. And
Yeah.
so, and I don't think they intended her to be the heart of that move, that arc, but she is. It's just like we discussed in our best fight scene, or no, our best death scenes, where we talked about how Obi-Wan Kenobi is really the heart of the first three movies.
Hmm.
And I think that's right. And I guarantee you that's not what uh, George Lucas said it was.
Yeah.
I mean, George Lucas to this day defends Anakin Skywalker
Yeah.
and not
Well,
Mark Hamill. I mean, Mark Hamill is clearly the main character of those three movies, but
oh, yeah.
Obi-Wan Kenobi is the moral center of those movies.
Yeah. It's funny though, before we get away from Black Widow, my other axiom is the
Yeah.
Emily Blunt axiom.
Oh,
Okay.
well,
And this may tweak based on age if we're talking like teenage characters, because he had me think about it with Buffy. So there may be an exception for younger characters. But the Emily Blunt axiom is why I didn't put Ripley on the list,
yeah.
why I don't have Sarah Connor on this list. And yeah, Black Widow is in there too. And that's any woman action character you can think of. Probably Emily Blunt would have played them better.
Yeah.
Emily Blunt is so amazing. So I have my Emily Blunt axiom.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, nobody expected that of Emily Blunt. Emily Blunt, English actress, you expect her to play, 18th century damsels in distress. You don't expect her to play badass
Yeah,
action stars.
she's
And she
too
can do
good.
all of it.
Too good.
And some dumbass is not writing good characters for her because, even now she could play those things. I mean, she could
Oh,
play those.
yeah.
She's going to have the same kind of cachet as man, I cannot think of his name, and it's stupid because it's a household name. The guy from Taken,
Oh, you mean Liam Neeson?
Liam Neeson.
Hmm.
Liam Neeson's career came back when he did Taken. He was pretty much
Yeah,
done until Taken,
it's true. It's
and
true.
and nobody thought this 50 something actor is going to be able to do action movies.
Yeah.
So yeah, she could do any of it.
Yeah. That,
Um,
that's all my axioms. I'm through my axioms now.
I got
Now
one
I just,
left.
the other
Oh yeah,
thing I
yeah.
have
Your
left is
axioms
a
are pretty good.
question.
Your
Um,
axioms are pretty good, although I don't think you really were explicit enough about what they are. So we've got the Meryl Streep axiom, which is
which is, it's not just about being good, because you could be the best actor in the world in a role, and yet still it's possible to recast it, or
yeah, no, no,
even
I
if
agree
that
with
meant
that. Yeah.
reimagining it.
Okay. All right. What? And then there's the Mork from Ork.
The Mork axiom, that it sort of is not fair to count the ones that were written for you.
Exactly. Yes,
Um,
exactly. Yeah. If they wrote a role for you, then it doesn't count.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
then
then
my
you've
last
got
one, the only thing I haven't mentioned is a question, and that's the Harrison Ford question. And I have a two-word answer to the Harrison Ford question,
okay.
and that's River Phoenix.
You
River
know,
Phoenix did such a good job as young Indiana Jones in the third movie. I think River Phoenix proves that those Harrison Ford roles, somebody else could do them.
yeah, see, I don't think that's true.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah.
there you go. We have conflict.
Let me tell you why. The movie came out after River Phoenix died,
Yeah.
and I think there's some sentimentality going on there.
Well, no, actually, it didn't, because then he went
Oh, I
and,
thought it did.
oh, no, you're right. It did. It did. You're right.
Yeah, see,
I don't
I
think
think the
so.
movie
I
came out
think,
after he died, and I think there's a lot of sentimentality there, a lot of nostalgia going on there.
well, probably, but I'm still sticking with it because I think he was so good. I think he was so
Yeah,
good.
see, I
And
wasn't. See, at the time, I was not that impressed.
really, I was
But
blown
what I
away.
think that does is I think that reinforces your young actor.
Hmm.
I think it's your young actor axiom there that it's he's a young actor, so it's not really necessarily going to apply.
Uh-huh.
Um, so and then so it sounds like there were four.
Well, that was the question. That was like so it's
Okay.
three and a half. That was
Well, I don't
just,
think anybody plays Indiana Jones as well as Harrison Ford. I
oh,
don't think anybody plays Han Solo as well as Harrison Ford. Um, I don't think, let's see, what's some other movies that he might have done? What I always was shocked by is his cameo in Apocalypse Now.
oh, yeah, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, he plays the intelligence briefing officer telling Martin Sheen. This is going to be another one of those. And I just thought of another one. I have two more TV ones, and that's it. One is, speaking of Apocalypse Now, Martin Sheen as President Bartlett
I
in
don't think
West
I
Wing.
agree with that one either.
No, I don't think anybody does that, especially when you look at the little flourishes and touches in the role, like the unusual way President Bartlett puts on his jacket. He throws it over his head. That was invented by Martin Sheen.
Like the
He's the
Riker
one who did that.
maneuver.
Yeah, I don't think anybody could do that role like he does. Nobody brings the gravitas. Nobody brings the lightheartedness in those scenes. Nobody brings the vulnerability the way he does. I just don't think that's possible. Now, we can disagree on that one, but I don't think we're going to disagree on my final one. Nobody plays the main character of Mad Men like John Hamm.
Huh. That's another one I'm going to have to sleep on.
No,
That's very interesting.
who could play him? Who could
Offhand,
play
I
Dick
can't think of
Whitman
anybody, but
hiding as his character?
hmm,
You have to
what an
understand that's two roles, not one.
what an interesting choice. I am definitely going to have to chew on that one. Huh.
Yeah, I don't think anybody else plays Don Draper.
Yeah.
Nobody can do it. Nobody can do it. What he's really good at is, this one should have been mentioned in our sociopath episode too. Nobody, I mean, that guy's a complete sociopath. He doesn't care who he hurts. He doesn't care whose way he gets in. And yet everybody does whatever he wants.
Hmm.
He's
Interesting.
the ultimate charming guy who is just a terrible human being. And it's implied in the end, spoiler alert, that he's the guy who comes up with the famous uh, Coca-Cola ad
That's
where they're
great.
singing on the hilltop. Have you watched that show all the way through?
Not all the way through, but I've watched a lot of it.
Yeah, you got to watch it all the way through. You got to
Yeah,
watch it
that's
all the way
right.
through. As soon as it looks like
Brilliant.
everything is going to fall apart for him, it doesn't happen. You know,
That's a really interesting choice. I'm going to have to chew on that, but you might be right.
I
Huh.
don't think anybody plays Don Draper or Dick Whitman like John Hamm. It's just not going to happen. He's
All
not.
right. All right. Well, this is an interesting one to close on.
Yep.
You might be right about that. It wouldn't have occurred to me, but you might be right. Huh. Well done.
Unconventional thinking strikes again. I can't help it. I was raised to be an unconventional thinker.
No, that's a good one. Um, all right, folks. I think we've gone through a lot here, and I think most of them, most people would agree with. So
Well, I sure do wish we could get some feedback. I wish
we'll
we
see.
had
They're so
some.
long. We'll see if anybody gets through them, right? But people are getting through the
Oh, they're
sociopath
getting
one,
through them.
so
They're
there you
listening,
go.
and we've had a real uptick. I
Yeah.
mean, before we had two or three people who listened to each episode. Now we're in their 40s or 50s. How is that happening?
Well, a few more than that, but close enough. All right. Well, thanks, folks, for listening. This one's been a lot of fun. Real light one. And after a few heavy ones, little palate cleanser there. And we'll get back with something next week. I don't know if it's going to be a heavy philosophical one, or I don't know if it's going to be another lighter silly one. I have a feeling it's going to be somewhere in between, but we'll see how it goes.
Not if I get my way.
Right.
Well, thanks a lot for listening to this passion fruit sorbet of an episode. To get back to John's palate cleanser. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for listening.
Our theme music is by Christopher Piatek.